Hey, this is Notser, and this is going to be a look at the 0.6.0 build for my British battleship, Warspite. She has 53,800 health, a top speed of 24.7 knots, 8 381mm guns, 16 secondary guns, a surface detect of 13.8 kilometers, and 52 AA defense rating. For my modules, improved auxiliary armament, improved secondary battery range, reduced the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift. For my commander, preventative maintenance, expert marksman, adrenaline rush, basic firing training, vigilance, fire prevention, and advanced firing training. We are on the map Hotspot, and this is my build. Probably not going to have a 19 skill commander in it in the near future because I am borrowing from my British cruiser. That is not what I would do for a British cruiser. I spent the 15 or 20 doubloons to train it. Okay? I know, it's insane, but I'm not going to pass that up right now. It's really cheap. So, let me just talk through what I thought. Preventative maintenance allows me to use auxiliary armament mod 1. Why is that? It basically provides the protection that I was looking for from main armament mod 1. By itself, it doesn't improve AA or secondary protection. It only improves modules protection for steering, engine, main battery, and torpedoes. I don't have torpedoes, but coupled with auxiliary mod 1, it allows for healthier secondary and AA mounts. So I'm going to be a better battleship the longer the game goes on. That really adds up over time. This cannot use a fighter. That's why I didn't use direction center. I really don't like the scout aircraft. I feel like the fighter is worth more, so that's why I avoided that. Expert marksman, it's the Warspite. Let's face it, the Warspite of all battleships needs it. It gives me something like 20 seconds faster turret traverse, just awful. Oh, look at, well, you can't pass up a cruiser that's showing a broadside. I mean, come on. So I leave the target, I elevate it just slightly because he is moving away, ever so slightly. And conveniently, we get dispersion on 2 shells to go right into the Citadel for 20,000. You can't really complain. No, can't. Adrenaline rush. It's a battleship. It's going to take damage. It's a very good 2-pointer. Eventually, it's going to improve the rate of fire of the secondaries. It does not do that right now. All it's doing is improving my main battery. But for a battleship, 1 to 2 seconds could be the difference between me getting my shot off and killing a target and the enemy battleship unable to return fire, and we stay healthy or alive. That's a big deal. And it's 2 points. Basic firing training, vigilance. Basic firing training, it aligns well with secondaries and AA build. Vigilance, because I don't have Hydra acoustic. Why vigilance or basic firing training over superintendent? Because superintendent is only going to give me 1 charge of the heal, which is good, but it's probably going to be 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes before I'm going to get to that last charge. A lot of the game is decided before that. And to me, if I'm going to use premium consumables, I should invest more in the early to mid game than the late game that superintendent is going to give me. It's a good skill. It's probably necessary if you don't use premium consumables, but if you do, I would suggest maybe vigilance, maybe basic firing training to protect your battleship. Now, if you have a German battleship and you can use hydroacoustic, well, just do that instead of vigilance. And I feel pretty good. It is a very nimble battleship. Avoiding torpedoes, and speak of the devil, avoiding torpedoes isn't too bad. And these torpedoes tell me that there's an enemy destroyer somewhere to the southeast of my position. And I need to be aware of that. I don't know what kind of destroyer. Well, I do if I would just press tab, but that would be ugly. I don't know if he has more torpedoes. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And to round out the build, fire prevention, it's the Warspite. It burns so easy. I just want to deny fire damage to the ship. Advanced firing training to improve the AA and the secondary gun range. I have gone pretty much what I would consider a normal secondary battery build, lower than tier 7. If you're tier 6 and below battleship, you don't really need to take, or I wouldn't even recommend taking manual secondary. It doesn't give you enough for what it costs. 4 points. 15% improved dispersion? That's not very good. So it seems to work pretty well. The enemy is kind enough to show themselves. It's an enemy Fubuki. And my secondaries are engaging it. They're not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. But I want to get away from him. I have no interest whatsoever in being near you, and he actually is annoyed enough to pop his smoke. Worked out. We lose a friendly destroyer, and I didn't like that. Oh wow, we set a target on fire. It's already paid for itself with that single fire. It's going to force out damage control, and it might actually do damage, and we set another fire. I believe he's still protected though. Again, vigilance is giving me just enough time. 25% more warning on the torpedoes so I can angle to avoid. It is going to make me show too much side. But the Warspite, we can take it. Now, to try and respond to the North Carolina, I fire on a ship and look at it. 2 fail to penetrate, 2 more ricochet. If he had just slightly better angling towards me, we would have probably citadeled him and killed him. But that's the difference between 1 or 2 degrees, right? I don't use any mods. I don't have any extra feeling. Maybe I pulled the trigger just a little bit too early. But it worked out in the end. Friendly New Mexico was right there to support us. And I'm going to try and be here to support the friendly New Mexico. And the enemy New Mexico that we were firing on previously is pretty low, so I'm going to try and fire on him. The Bismarck is aggressively pushing forward, and look at that. We set 2 fires. This is crazy. The fact that we haven't fired our main battery with HE is, and we've already absolutely gone well and above the HE fires. We don't have any accuracy increase. You know, we're just using the modules. It feels like a secondary build on the Warspite. Feels pretty good. They're hitting okay. It's not German, but it's okay. Coupled with the main battery, it's really okay. We lose the friendly New Mexico, unfortunately, and I'm trying to maintain good angling against, and I think it was the Bismarck that we set on fire, and he's still burning in the background. Ooh, that was good damage. I'm trying to also maneuver, so the 2 enemies that overshot A point, they're going to have to go behind this big, well, it looks like a volcano island, and I should be 1 versus 1 against the New Mexico. I wasn't really interested in staying in the area. All I wanted to do is make sure that I can engage the New Mexico and deal with the torpedo boat that is hounding me. He's clearly there. I can't go that direction. I can't go east. I'm going to run into him. I can't handle both of those targets, plus the Bismarck and the Fiji in the background. I've got to play it as best as I can. Giving ground and only having 2 targets that could theoretically engage me is the strategy. Friendlies get him low. This should, yes it does end him. And the enemy Fiji shows up. Friendly Amagi is also, I think, engaging the Bismarck. Thankfully the Bismarck is interested in engaging. Oh, look! The destroyer! He's right there! Oh, I want to rotate those guns. Look at those guns. They're already in position. We're ready to go. And he disappears. I'm going to just take a blind fire. Maybe I get lucky. Probably a little bit behind the target. We've got to consider that torpedoes might be on the way. It's a tier 6 Japanese destroyer, and Japanese destroyers have a pretty good rearm of their torpedoes early on. And up here they come. So I'm going to try and fit myself in between the 2 sets. Vigilance again bails me out, probably saves me from taking 1 torpedo. I think that's pretty fair. Vigilance has saved me from taking 2 torpedoes this entire fight. 1 over by the island just north of A, and then obviously right there. That's probably 15,000 damage-ish. It's definitely paid for it. And this guy is going directly at us, very thin. I fire at his bow, and we miss. We did have 2 very accurate shots, but They weren't to be. Now, he just sent 9 torpedoes. He's not going to have them rearmed for another 30 seconds, maybe-ish. I could try and aggressively push in. I don't have hydroacoustic. I've used my aircraft hoping that it would detect the torpedo and the destroyer previously, but now I'm really hoping that he's going to maybe bail out north. I just want to kill this guy. I have, what was that, 1 kill? Yeah, I've got 1 kill. I would like 2. I've done great damage for my team, but I only have 1 kill to show for it. And the one issue with this is the turret traverse. The closer I get to the target, the harder it is for the Warspite. But what else is there? I have to detect this guy and try and kill him. And now we're detected. Oh, man, turrets are traversing. Come on! Don't fire! Give me a kill! Of course, the Warspite turrets failed us in our hour of need. But I can't complain. This game was great. We were bottom tier, and we contributed that much to our team. There's nothing better. Earn Confederate, 1 kill, 5 fires, 64 shells of the secondary made contact, 128,000 points of damage done. Not bad, right? Not bad for a tier 6 and a tier 8 match. I did 1,945 base XP, and if you noticed, I really manipulated the island to my advantage. Plus the build, it allowed me to spot those torpedoes, avoid damage that way, and also have the secondary gun range to get the 5 fires and the extra damage. Yeah, secondaries did 27,000 damage for us. That's not bad at all. And we didn't use manual secondary. I did 101 with my main battery, and 1.2 million fired at us. That must be torpedoes. It was not main battery that fired at us that much. Either way, I really enjoyed this build for the Warspite. It felt really balanced and effective. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.